Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be speaking about Warhammer Gladius. It's the brand new turn-based strategy game that just got announced in the past week. Now I actually was very lucky to actually play the game at the open day, and more than that, I actually got to sit down with one of the lead game designers and ask a few questions, mainly questions that were put forward by you chaps, because I said, you know, if you guys want any information knowing, please put them in text format and I will gladly ask the developers. And that's what we did. It wasn't really like a one-to-one interview. There was no really footage shot because you're not allowed to film inside Warhammer World. Now, I did ask if I could film, but the Warhammer World said no, there's no filming allowed. So I'm sorry on that front. I'm just going to be playing some video and putting some screenshots in the background and stuff like that. So first things first, my actual experience of playing the game at the event. I sat down, I spoke to a chap called Alberto. Alberto and me shared a couple of messages on Skype. We arranged it all. I went there, sat down, and I actually got to play the game before I actually spoke to one of the developers. And all in all, I actually really enjoyed playing the game. It was a fun game. This studio, Slytherin Studios, who's actually making this game, are probably renowned to be one of the best turn-based strategy companies out there. Some of their games they've done before, like Armageddon, Sanctus, Reach, they've done in the 40K IP just alone. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really fun game. Now, a lot of people were comparing this game to Civ. And for me personally, I've never really played and sat down a Civ campaign fully. I've played like 20 to 30 minutes worth, I think, but I've never really sat down and got into it. But I can kind of see where people are comparing the similarities between both of the games. And what I mean by that, and that on some levels, the games are quite similar. For example, the hex-based system, the turn-based system, I can completely understand where people are getting the idea that this game is just Civ with a 40k skin. And in a way, you are correct, but in a way, you're wrong as well. This game is just a 40k game. The main outcome of this game is to completely conquer the map you're on, the said map you're on. It's a 40k game. It's just war. There's nothing really in it for the main objective except conquer and destroy. There is some emphasis on, of course, base management. To say, for example, you have your cities, and in these cities you have like recruitment, ore supplies, you know, all this kind of stuff that you would think, you know, like a hive city would need to produce stuff. You have to keep on top of and make sure, you know, you have the right resources going in if you want to start producing the correct units coming out of those cities. So after playing the game for somewhat and getting lost, because, you know, it is, when you do play a new game, you know, there is a lot to learn. One of the designers came over and I had a nice little chat with him. He's a really, really nice guy. And we just spoke general about 40k and the actual game itself. I was asking him questions, how this works, and he was showing me like how the camera works and all that kind of stuff. And we were looking at some of the units. Now, of course, in this game there is Necrons, Imperial Guard, Orcs, and Space Marines. So this is where some of the questions were coming out, where you chaps were asking me. For example, one of the questions were, what Space Marine chapter do you play? And they just said there's really no limited Space Marine chapter you can play. You just go in and pick a colour. You know, it's not like the Black Templars, it's Imperial Fist, Blood Angels, or anything like that. You just basically put a colour to what chapter you want to play, and you go and play it as that said chapter you want. You won't have like Imperial Fist logos popping up on the screen or anything like that. And added on that subject of like making your own chapter and stuff, one of the main questions that was asked when I put this out there about asking questions was, will this game support mods? You know, people bringing assets in and making their own kind of stuff. And the developer he didn't really confirm it, but he did say that the engine itself is very mod friendly. You can go in 3D Max and make a model and easily put it over to this game. It's the same with like all the stat sheets and stuff like that. You can easily, you know, if you're one of these people that know how to do this, you can easily go in and edit the game files and change stats. I don't know, like put it on a Bane Blade and put like a Bane Blade to hit for like 1,000,000 damage and stuff like that. You know, you can go in that sense and play around with the game because the engine which they're running it on and the actual game itself is designed for that. Which for me, I think it was great news, because if there's one thing about modern games today is the lack of mod support. Because, and this is just not 40k games, this is general games as a whole, they basically want to shill you their DLC, but 9 out of 10 times their DLC is crap compared to community-made content, and of course they're losing money through that content. I think there's only really one game which is really big on mods these days, and that is Armor 3. Armor 3 is just amazing for mods. I absolutely love that game. But back onto the 40k subject of this and having mods in it, I think it's a great way forward. I think the last really strategy game which gave us mods in this kind of sense was Dawn of War. The Dawn of War, not Dawn of War 3 so much, because that is still a little bit held back, I think, in some aspects. But the actual Dawn of War, like Retribution, Dawn of War 1, the Apocalypse mod and stuff like that, if this game can echo that kind of commitment to the community and that kind of enjoyment where it brings to the community, because some of the player-made content for those games well, they're basically keeping those games alive today. The Apocalypse mod is definitely keeping the Dawn of War original franchise alive today. So there is a lot of merit when you let modders in to your games and let them produce their own content, because 9 times out of 10 the content is absolutely superb. And I don't think there's been one Dawn of War game where it had mod support which I disliked, because the community, the 40k community, is just amazing at making content for the franchise that they love, just like me and you. He showed me stuff like the heroes classes which you have in game. So you have captains, you know, like Necron lords and stuff like that, and these lords are upgraded through, you know, doing certain mission types, going to certain objectives and completing those missions, and you can get like new weapons for him, upgrades to him and all that kind of stuff. And one of the cool things is, he actually mentioned, is that if you actually lose that hero, that's it, he's gone. He doesn't come back after, like, you know, 10 turns or anything like that. If you actually lose your hero in game, that is it, he will be gone for the entire game. So you have to be very, very careful when you actually go into these situations with your hero units, because the last thing you want to do is have this hero you had from the start, he's got all these awesome weaponry and stuff like that, and then you lose him in a stupid decision, and that's it, he's gone then for the rest of the game, and you have to like go back and level a brand new hero up and do the whole repeat and wash thing with this chap. And with the actual units themselves, they can be upgraded to make them far more powerful, far more better on the battlefield. For example, he showed me a Lehman Russ tank, and this was just a basic Lehman Russ tank. It just had a normal cannon on it, but of course he activated his little dev console, pressed some keys, and he got like 1,000,000 points or something. And the tank was upgraded with like dual heavy bolters on its side, you know, vanquisher cannons and stuff like that. So when you do come in and you fight different units, they're basically more effective. They're more devastating when you fight different things. So unit progression is definitely in the game, and it actually looked really, really nice as well. And this is another thing: the engine they're using is different from Sanctus Reach, but I actually really, really like it. You know, I said at the start of the video, it's not a AAA kind of mind-blowing game, but for what it is, it's perfect. It really does work perfect. Like some of the firing effects he was showing me, like the cannon shooting and the heavy bolters shooting and stuff like that, it looked really, really nice on the battlefield. It was a really nice engine. So I'm glad that they've took the time out. And this is an actual in-game house engine as well. You know, they designed it themselves, so they haven't gone to like Unreal or anything like that. This is their engine, which allows them to do whatever they want with said engine. And of course, speaking about his dev godness, he opened up the map. He pressed some, he's shown all the map off, and we were looking at all the bases. So we looked at the Orc, the Necron bases. I asked him, can I look at some of the Necron units, because I'm actually a huge fan of Necrons. I think the way Necrons look are amazing. So we were looking at their bases and some of their units and stuff like that. I actually asked him, and we both agreed between ourselves not to show me every unit, because I actually want to be spoiled. You know, I actually want to be surprised when the game comes out as well. You know, it's kind of hard in my position now where I am, that I get shown things, and sometimes it ruins it for me, because I'm a 40k fan first, so I actually like to experience these things when I come into game and see certain things. But some of the models he showed me are fantastic. Again, the engine, this goes back to the engine, they look really, really good on the engine. The actual map that's you're actually playing on is very unique as well. Like, it's a randomized map, so every campaign or mission you ever play will never be the same. it's always got to be a different generated map, which I think is really, really cool. I think Inquisitor Martyr's doing that as well in some aspect. So that, again, will add playing it, not only just single player, but with your friends as well, online, add a new dimension, because nothing's ever going to be the same. You know, you could start in one corner and have all these resources and stuff around you and be in a really good position, and then the next game it's just completely different where you are in that said corner again. So I'm really thankful that they're actually doing that with a map, because it does add a lot of longevity to the game, and it just keeps you playing because it's always random, it's always different, which is really, really fun. All in all, it was a great experience. Of course, there was a ton of people who wanted to play it, and I didn't really want to take up their entire day just asking a limitless amount of questions and ruin it for everyone else who was there. But I really did enjoy the game. Again, the game was very in an early stage. I know the testing is going to be starting very, very soon. They didn't give a date, but they said within the next month or so, we'll be seeing people being invited to the game to actually test it. So if you haven't already, go over to their website. I'll put a link in the description, and you can go and sign up on the website over there. I just want to say thank you to Alberto for arranging me to speak to one of the developers, one of the team, and asking these questions. Thank you very much. Very much enjoyed the game. I am going to be looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be purchasing it when it comes out. I'm a real big fan of turn-based strategy games. It's probably because I'm awful at RTS games. I get my ass handed to me every single time. But fun game, really looking forward to it. Hope I've given you some more information. If you want to ask any more questions, because I may have left something out, I'm not too sure, but just ask away in the comment section, and I'll do my best to try and answer them for you guys. So thank you for watching the video, hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you all very, very soon. See you now, brothers, and bye bye.